funky and he took one off, right? So I'm like, oh my God, okay, he has one eyebrow, what am I going to do? So I looked at him and I was like, hey baby, you know in America we have 2 eyebrows. And he looked at me and he was like, you know when I'm going to have 2 eyebrows? You know when I'm going to have 2 eyebrows? When Palestine and Israel, they 2 states. Yani never! If there's no settlement reason, there's no eyebrow tweezing. And then I've been learning interesting things about refugees, because Palestine is like very Americanized. By round of applause, who's ever been to Palestine? Americanized. I mean, there's like Reese's peanut butter cups and McDonald's and stuff. It is. It's all so what, but it's there. So, but it's pretty Americanized. So I thought he'd be okay here. Not so much. Learned a couple of big lessons. Number 1, when you get engaged, there's only one good thing about getting engaged. Believe me, everyone's lying to you about everything else. Like, I waited 33 years to get engaged and to finally plan a wedding, and now I'm in the process of it, and I hate every single second of it, because I hate him. But he will tweeze that eyebrow. No, but what I realized was this: never, ever, under any circumstances, take your Palestinian refugee fiance from Gaza to Bloomingdale's to register and give him the scanning gun. Because to them, a gun is a gun. He was like running through the China section screaming jihad. And my cousin Jihad was there helping him, but that was not. The thing that freaks my fiance out the most about America is dogs with clothing. We're walking through Target, and of course there's this like really nice old woman whose dog I wish I was, who's pushing this dog through a stroller, and the dog's like wearing a mink and a beret. And he just looked at her, and he was like, gosh, I wish I could behead dogs. And then we went to New York and he saw homeless people. And he was like, wait, so you put clothes on the dogs and the people on the street? I'm like, yeah. He's like, welcome to America. I'm sorry, yeah. I'm trying to think of what other stories I want to tell you guys. I would love to tell you stories about Arizona State, but it's just all too traumatic. Okay, here's something to make you happy about the college I went to, because everyone's a little racist. My senior year was the first time Arizona State University ever had Martin Luther King Day off. They weren't big on this idea of having Martin Luther King Day off because they're white supremacists. And so finally, they decide to have Martin Luther King Day off. Do you know why? Because the Super Bowl refused to come to Arizona if they didn't. And the next year, we went to school on Martin Luther King Day. Go ASU. Sun Devils. What do you guys think of the long-dead gone Yasser Arafat? You a fan, not a fan? Like, given the choice between Obama and Arafat being president right now, who do you pick? It's kind of a tough choice. They're both charming and ineffectual. But one was a criminal and one's just hot. Decide. But I got to meet Yasser Arafat once. Anyone else? Any of you guys met him when you were like 3? Yeah. Now, I got to meet Yasser Arafat once, and there was a reason that I went to meet him. For those of you who don't know him, he's the dead president of I don't know, I guess he's the president of nothing, because there's no country. Yeah, he's the dead president of nothing. And I went to meet him because when I was growing up, there was a lot of confusion that me and Yasser Arafat were the same person. Because he's Palestinian, I'm Palestinian, and he had crazy facial hair, and of course I have crazy facial hair. And he had Parkinson's, so he shakes all the time, and I have CP, and I shake all the time. And he spits, I swallow. We're 2 different people. Anyway, I decided we had to be seen together so that people would stop thinking we were the same person. So I went to the UN to shake his hand. So I went, stood online, stuck out my hand to shake his hand. It looked like this. And then he stuck out his hand. And it looked like this. So I'm going like this. He's going like this. Security's going like this. It was like, Shakira, Shakira. And in the end, I never got to shake his hand. But he licked my face really well. Any disabled people in the audience? Any differently able people in the audience? differently able. Yeah, right on. That doesn't count that back hair thing, but I love it. People always feel bad for me for being disabled. I just want to tell you, do not feel bad for me. I get handicap parking. Do you understand the power of this? And there's a problem. And the problem is that, I'm a really sprightly disabled person, I'm running around, flipping my hair. If you go she drunk, she retarded. And if I park in front of a mall in Jersey in the pouring rain in my handicap spot, I'm running in that mall, right? And this has a tendency to piss off the paraplegic whose parking spot I just took. And they try to chase me down in the mall. So the other day I'm parking in the mall and a cop comes to give me a ticket. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, you're parking in the handicap space. And I'm like, I'm disabled. And he actually debated me. And he was like, no, you're not. I was like, excuse me, yes I am. And he's like, do you have any proof? I'm like, how about the state-issued handicap tag, asshole? And he's like, no, that's not enough. So I peed on his leg. I've been putting off the whole wedding thing because I don't really want a husband. I just want to be engaged and get bridal shower gifts. My wedding is Halloween, inshallah. And why are you laughing? It's Halloween. It was 15% off. I have refugees to feed, for God's sakes. But I'm really excited about my wedding because it's finally my turn. And I've always hated weddings. With a passion, I hate them. And the reason why is because if you're single and a bridesmaid at an American wedding, you have to participate in this thing called the bouquet toss, where they throw flowers and women catfight and kick each other to catch it or something like that. And here's the thing, I have cerebral palsy and catching is not my thing. I've actually been beamed in the head with one of those bouquets and ended up bleeding on a dance floor. So now I'm excited because now it's my turn and I finally get to throw the bouquet. And you know what? I'm not going to throw it over my shoulder, I'm going to throw it forward. Because although I have cerebral palsy and I'm not very good at catching, I'm also Palestinian and I'm damn good at throwing. My name is Maysoon Zayid, next year in Jerusalem. Thank you so much, Rutgers University. This next comic has been seen everywhere. CNN, The View. He started an incredible comedy festival in Amman, Jordan, of all places. So you can tell people, yes, Arabs laugh, and they go to comedy festival. And he is, oh, there he is. He is the co-producer and co-founder of the New York Arab American Comedy Festival, which is our big, huge comedy festival. We're doing May 5th to the 9th in New York City. You can go to arabcomedy.org. All your favorite comics from Comedy Central, every Arab performer you know is in it. So please come to the festival, and please give a huge round of applause for my brother from another mother,